I would have loved to see what are the conversion rates with a one with that kind of checkout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's something else. Sorry, there's been a lot of discussion around this of like, oh, hey, yeah, we're going to switch to Braintree or we're going to switch to like some of these different payment processors to save some money. Guys, I've never seen a payment system quite as sticky as ShopPay. So like
Oh,
if you're
really?
on ShopPay, don't like try to negotiate. Sure, try and get your rates down. You can if you're on Shopify Plus, guys, you can get your rates down, no problem. But like you don't I just don't think it's worth the switch unless you have to. ShopPay is incredible. Having the Shop app, all those things. Anyway, that's just my little aside here for you there. So Sarah, you hit, the payment processing issue and you solved that. What was the next big roadblock that you guys hit?
YouTube shutting down every influencer we worked with,
What?
deleting their channels.
When was that?
That was like 2017, 2018. There was like some legislation that had passed federally about platforms being responsible for the content that they were, even user generated content that they were posting. And so that's when you saw stuff like Backpage go away, certain things with Craigslist, a lot of like, adult content
Yeah.
that they were worried about being holding the bag for, right? And so we saw every major influencer, cannabis space influencer, be channels just deleted overnight. Oh, and we were heavily invested with those influencers and YouTube influencers specifically, getting a lot of, link juice linking back to us, and just a lot of like, it generates a lot of great word of mouth and market, just brand awareness. And I mean, like literally overnight, within 5 to 7 days, those were all gone. And we had been relying too much on that channel, on those on someone else's platform. And that really almost put us out of business. I mean, we had, that was our first real like come to Jesus, where the three of us looked at each other and said, we have a 60-day runway of cash, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we had to make some big changes, and it was heart-wrenching. Like, I could still cry talking about it. Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
But we figured it out. Like, we turned it around.
Yeah.
We did a lot of layoffs. We did we got really lean. We did a whole bunch of stuff, like just fight, on the back end financially, raised prices, doubled down on email marketing, Instagram. We still had our own YouTube channel. At that point, we had never been deleted, and we had grown a pretty large following. So, we still had that. But that was rough. That was a really, really rough time. That was really scary.
It's just, I've got a bunch of like, I think interesting questions I want to ask you, but I just want to have a quick discussion around the insanity that all of this was. Like being a Canadian, I'm like, how many years has weed been legal for? And how many years before that was it just legal? Like it's actually insanity that this still is happening in the States. Like the people who are making this legislation have obviously never had cannabis before. Like, and I had Olivia, I think I told you about this. I had Olivia's last name, Kush Queen.
Yeah. Oh, I love her.
Yeah. I had her on the pod recently. We were talking a little bit about this, and like the amount of people that I know in my life medicinally that cannabis has helped comparatively, the amount of people that I know that have gone sober drinking because of cannabis. Like, guys, these are like, there's not even measurable in the health effects, right? We know that alcohol, more than 2 drinks a week, causes cancer. And yet we're concerned that people are chilling out, smoking some weed. Like, I don't even get this world that we're living in. Like, it makes zero sense. If anything, we should go back to prohibition. I hope that gets quoted one day.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? That would be so interesting.
So anyway, I just wanted to just have a quick pedestal moment there of like, this is insanity. That like the things that we do as a society sometimes are insane. This is why I love Elon so much. He just goes back to first principles thinking constantly, where you're like, okay, well, what's more dangerous? Right? Like what, like in this conversation, like, why does this even have to be a thing that we're taking these people off of YouTube? Like,
I know, it's insane. It's like, because the children might see. That's almost always the argument. And ironically, how we got cannabis legalized medically was like, hey, look at these children who are benefiting from it medically.
That's right. That's right. I mean, that was a huge thing when it came to kids who had seizure disorders, right?
Yeah,
Like that was one of the first use cases, which is a very interesting way to sort of submarine cannabis back into the landscape. Sarah, a question that I want to ask a little off of this topic here is, how do you stand out? This is one of these things I think about often with like the amount of cannabis stores that I have in my area. I'm like, how do you stand out marketing wise when it comes to selling cannabis? Like what is it that actually moves the needle, and like why would somebody purchase from you? Like remember guys, we went from like dealers to like these illegal sort of shops that you could walk into that said, weed here, to now like these legitimate organizations that also have massive handcuffs with marketing. How do you stand out?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it was like, number one was good design. When my other partner was a graphic designer, I came from the interior design background. We just always wanted to, make things look really clean, really modern, and like not like too professional because we're having fun, but like for grown-ups, just clean it up and be professional. The other thing was customer service. As just like, we always ran things, the golden rule, and we always treated customers number one. Like, that is who is putting, food on our table.
Yeah.
And we would always, just go above and beyond and give the absolute best customer service possible.